Welcome, everybody. This is the DVMUG Zoom meeting. It's Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026, and we're going to start off a little different today. I'm going to do the news from the Apple hardware. There's 5 new things over the last 2 days before release starts. So this will just be news. There's links for this in the chat to these articles. You want to get it. And these are the 5 new things they released. First article. Okay, new iPhone 17e, which replaces the 16e from last year at this time. You can't tell the difference by looking at it. Same form factor, but they added MagSafe, which everybody bitched about. Doubled the storage from 128 to 256, which is nice. Same price, so that's a bonus. Upgraded chip is newer. Put the Apple modem chip in it. Has a new ceramic shield coating on the glass. It has more camera capabilities. And it has an option for the pretty pink color. Okay, it's barely pink. Okay, so you can read the article. It tells you all about it if you're interested in it. That's the only new phone. Any questions or comments about that?
Nope, that's
No.
helpful. I'm still going to stay with the 17.
17 is still a good deal. It's $200 more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, next item. iPad Air goes to M4 and has more memory. It also has the new modem, if you get it with the cellular model, and Wi-Fi 7 chips. I believe the prices are the same, 600 for the 11, 800 for the 13. Storage bumped from 128 to 256, also available. Oh, wait a minute. They did not bump the storage on this. This still comes with 128 as the base. That's sad. With an option of 256, 512, or 1 terabyte. And it comes in 2 sizes, 11 and 13, and 4 colors. Okay. Otherwise, you can't tell by looking at it. It looks the same form factor. Questions, comments? Nope. Next item. MacBook Air has a new chip and a lower price, sort of, because they raised the default SSD from 256 to 512, which used to cost you an extra $200. Well, they raised the price $100, so it's actually $100 cheaper than if you would have bought it with the 512. Basically, there's not a lot different about it. It does have an M4. Didn't have an M4 before? I don't remember. There's so much change in all
Oh, it
this
has an
stuff.
M5. That's the name, M5
Oh, yeah,
Mac
yeah, yeah. It
Air.
has an M5. Okay. Have a new chip. Yeah, M5. All the new MacBooks have M5s. You're correct. Anything else?
From what I understand, the M5 is supposed to be um, way more designed more for AI to take advantage of it than the M4 was. What that means in real life, who knows?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. All these devices are available pre-order beginning tomorrow and go on sale March 11th, which is when? I don't know what day of the week that is. Okay, here we go. Next one. M5 Pro and Max MacBook Pros. So here's the models. They come in 14 and 16, and they come with different chips. So now this is the first time we've seen the M5 Max chips. These are way more expensive machines, and you can see quite a bit more expensive, but they're supposed to be completely different architecture. They had a whole technical release about what's different about them. They're not for you and me, for average people. They're for people who are doing development stuff and running high-end stuff. So, yeah, or they call it the fusion architecture, supercores and fusion architecture, whatever that means. Questions, comments? These chips are probably going to come to the studio shortly, not too soon, not too down the road. Okay. Last release. The studio display, XDR is basically all new, and the studio display is just a refresh, the one Ann and Ken have. So that starts at what? 1600. The XDR is 3300. My mini LED, it's actually cheaper than it used to be. They say it used to be 5,000. I've never seen one myself. I don't know anybody who's ever bought one. I'd also have an option on the Studio Play for a really expensive stand, which I did know somebody who bought, that goes up and down and articulates, and that's expensive, and that's built into the XDR. Okay, that's all the news. Anybody else got anything?
The previous XDR was a 32-inch 6K display, and the new one is only 27 5K.
Right. Smaller. It's also cheaper. Yeah. So I didn't put in the last slide is tomorrow is Wednesday is when they're doing the media event in, where are they doing it? In New York, Paris, and Shanghai or something? Not a keynote. It's people are going to be in there in person, hands-on with this stuff, I guess. And I'm sure the rumors are, and they've been dead on so far, that there will be more hardware tomorrow. And the strong rumor is Apple slipped and let out the name of the new low-cost MacBook that's under 1,000 and probably called the Nano. The price didn't slip. Everybody's speculating anywhere all over the map about the price. Everybody hopes it'll be 600. Could be anywhere between 600 and 1,100 because now the base MacBook Air is 1,100, so maybe fall somewhere in the middle. 699, 799. Unknown, but almost for sure that's going to be tomorrow. Okay. I think and it could be something else too. Could be two things tomorrow. Who knows? Okay, that's all I got. Anybody else? I'll turn it over to Lee. Share, stop my share. Go ahead, Lee.
Share screen, share sound, share. Well, thanks, John, for being on top of and presenting that breaking information about the new hardware. I have here the more conventional meeting that we go through: news, videos, miscellany, Q&A, and social hour, which I'll proceed with here. The week's news. There are 4 items in this slide I present here just to remind me to tell you that these are on the BBS, and if you click the URL, because it's in PDF form, you will click right to the articles and you can get more details than I will have in my brief discussion summaries. Following
in the chat, they're in the chat now.
Okay. Following synopses on these. Apple, there are delays in the Apple intelligence, and there's a lawsuit, and Apple is requesting a dismissal. The title of the article in Apple Insider is "Plaintiffs Took Unsupported Leap in Lawsuit. Apple Hopes to Get Dismissed." The claims are: one class action suit is being led by South Korea's National Pension Service and claims that Apple actions have cost billions in stock market losses. Apple is over promising Siri capabilities. The third item is that the company is doing a poor job of complying with an injunction related to the Epic lawsuit. I don't know if you remember that Epic lawsuit, but it's that Epic Games complained that Apple's store practices were uh, anti-competitive, and their 30% off the top was not good. Well, the Apple is asking that for dismissal on these, and these are the responses to those claims. The first claim is frivolous, that perhaps the pension fund would have avoided these losses by following the age-old advice of Apple stock: hold it. If the pension holders had anywhere to direct their ire, it probably should be aimed at whoever makes the decision to buy or sell Apple stock. The last two complaints, Apple's call substantiated. Apple says that there is no proof that the Apple knew that the Apple intelligence features, that the artificial intelligence features would be delayed when they were announced in 2024. Secondly, the company had submitted changes in accordance with the order, which they were only deemed unsatisfactory at a later date. So that's just sort of up to date on ongoing, that's been going on since 2020. So just an update on that. Any comments or questions? Next item, Apple in 2025, the 6 colors report card by Adam Angst from Tidbits. But Adam Angst from Tidbits is really telling us about what Jason Snell of 6 Colors had to say. Jason Snell of 6 Colors has released his annual Apple report card, which compiles rankings from scores submitted by 56 Apple-focused writers, editors, developers, podcasters, and other professionals, including Adam Angst. The report card categorized Apple products and services into 14 items. For example, the Mac, the iPhone, the iPad, wearables, etc. For the 4th year in a row, hardware reliability topped the list, followed by the iPhone, the iPad, and services categories. Perhaps most troubling is that of the 14 categories, scores dropped in 11 of them. Apple's impact on the world category suffered the largest decline, falling a full point to an F grade, a precipitous drop driven by Tim Cook's obsequious relationship with the Trump administration. For the world impact category, Brent Simons summed up the sentiment. Apple once had a reputation as an ethical and humane big tech company, and that reputation helped the world by showing that it was possible to be that and be successful. That reputation is gone, and that example is now gone too. The articles are available by clicking the URL. Any comments or questions?
Do you
Yeah,
remember? Go ahead.
I couldn't agree. I guess we should be raising our hands. The yeah, I couldn't agree more on that last thing about the world impact thing. It really tempts me to want to boycott Apple products over that.
Yeah.
Do you remember Google's original motto?
Do no harm.
Yeah.
I
Now
know,
everybody's scared to death of Google, what they're doing.
right. Well, I know that Anthropic, I was just reading this morning that Anthropic's business has just skyrocketed because they refuse to, allow Hegseth to do anything that he wanted to with their product. And so they're not suffering at all economically by refusing to sell to the Pentagon.
Interesting.
And apparently, there's been so much negative response to what Sam Altman did with AI that he has apparently renegotiated or is trying to renegotiate the contract by adding things to the contract that's basically what Anthropic was saying to begin with, and that Hegseth refused to accept. So now he's trying to back step by renegotiating. I don't think he's going to succeed.
The times we're in.
Well, this stuff is dangerous.
Yes.
And they know, and the thing is, the people who are making it know it.
Mhm.
And once you sell your soul, you can't renegotiate it.
Yeah. All right, moving on. A smartphone storm is coming, but Apple already built a shelter. David Price from Macworld. He feels it's common knowledge that the smartphone market is not in a good place right now, but new research has revealed the unprecedented severity of the problem, the likely time frame before things get better, and the one company that's best placed to survive the ordeal. And spoiler, that company is Apple. According to analysis at IDC, which is the International Data Corporation, by way of Bloomberg, the global memory shortages will cause the smartphone market to shrink by 12.9% in 2026. That's a shortfall of roughly 160 million units that were sold last year and won't be sold this year. A situation that the research firm characterizes as a crisis like no other, and most of the impact will be felt by companies making cheap Android handsets. The problem is related to artificial intelligence, which is sucking up resources that would otherwise be available for phone manufacturers and causing prices for memory to spike. Budget phones have very slim profit margins, so their makers are unable to absorb the cost increases. It's fortunate for Apple then that it got out of the budget smartphone market at that what increasingly looks like to have been the perfect time. So, any comments or questions?
What exactly are they talking about there? Are they talking about manufacturing capacity? Um,
It
No.
has to do with memory and storage shortages, all been bought up by the AI companies. And I went to buy an SSD at Amazon, and in last 6 months, the SSD's doubled in price.
yeah, but is that because of manufacturing capacity? Because I'm sure they're not buying the same chips that our phones use.
No, they switched all the manufacturing to manufacture the more
NVIDIA
higher
chips.
end memory and storage for the AI servers, and they're making more money. So they don't have the capacity to make the cheap stuff.
Yeah, it's the shift of the chip makers.
And so that affects cheap phones, which Apple doesn't make cheap phones.
Right. All
I
right.
noticed that my memory capacity is also probably going to drop 12.5% this year.
I
It's
concur
been
with
on
that.
that curve for a while now.
I think you're bragging. The rest of us are dropping faster.
Yeah.
Okay, hands on. This is heretical of me, but I'm doing it. Hands on, this ultra thin Find My card tracker solves AirTag's biggest problem, plural. Apple's new AirTags still have the same issues, plural, that the first generation had, which are that their form factor makes it awkward to put in wallets and that they use disposable batteries. KeySmart's new smart card aims to alleviate all of that. It is just 1.7 millimeters thin compared to the 8 millimeter thickness of the AirTag, and it recharges wirelessly. Here's a spec breakdown. 1.8 millimeters thin, charges by way of the wireless standard QI charging, and it works with MagSafe. IPX8 waterproof uh, standard that says it's completely submersible underwater. Status light and sound alerts, and it works with Find My and with Google Hub. This KeySmart Smart Card Generation 3 is available today on Amazon and on their website. It comes in two colors, black and a new translucent color called Ghost. They are sold as a single 3-pack or 5-pack. Single $39, 3-pack $89, and 5-pack $139. So It might be heretical to say this, but that's information that might be interesting to some people.
What's heretical about it?
Well, I'm supposed to be talking about Apple products, I think.
It's Apple compatible.
That's true. You got a point. You
So
win.
I have a different one that was $17 on Amazon. It's called a SwitchBot, and it's the thickness of a credit card, just about. It's not rechargeable, but supposedly the battery is good for 3 to 5 years. Um, so
All right.
because you can't put an app tag in a wallet unless you want a big, huge, fat bulge in it.
Yeah.
And so far, it's working fine.
And 3 to 5 years, you can buy a rechargeable one.
Yep, which is
Moving
cool.
on. Moving on to the videos. This again is to remind me to tell you that these are available on the BBS and you can click on the URLs.
You know,
First,
one other thought about that card
yeah,
is I wonder what the battery life is before I have to recharge it, because having to recharge your wallet on a regular basis, you want something you can stick in there and forget about for a long time, like a year, 5 years, something on that time frame, rather than something you have to remember to be charging all the time.
that's an interesting point. Mhm.
You mentioned that these videos are available on the DVMUG. Where are they? Or where will they be?
They're on the bulletin board service, just the regular
Under
DVD.
any particular place on the bulletin board? Because
Yeah,
I've never seen them there before. That's all.
And you always post them like, he just posted them before the meeting. It's right there in the DVMUG folder. They're
yeah.
linked there. It's a PDF file. Also, when you look in the chat, in this meeting, in the chat, you'll see I uploaded them, so you can just download them right there.
Right, but the chat, does that disappear or does that hang around for a while?
It's there as long as you can see them now. They're there to the end of the meeting. If you come in after they were posted, you won't see them.
Okay.
Well, maybe his
But-
point is, can you click them and they download to your computer?
Yes.
Well, if
Download
you
the
click them,
PDF.
they open in the app, they open in an app, and that'll hang on, after you quit Zoom. But and then you can save them. You can download them, but
You can save the whole chat. Just upper right-hand corner of the chat over there will let you save all of it. You just later on click on it.
yeah, but I don't think you don't get clickable links when you do that, though. You only get a text file.
Could we do this at Q&A time?
Fine with me. I just wanted to know.
Mhm. Yeah. Mhm.
Go ahead, play the video.
Well, let's go to the first video. First video is by Sam Cambedes of samcambedes.com. How I organize files on iPhone and iPad so I can actually find things. Are you struggling to organize files on your iPhone or iPad? If you've ever downloaded something and had no idea where it went, this video will help. I'll show you exactly how I organize files in the Files app on iPhone and iPad, including my folder structure, how I use iCloud Drive versus on my iPad, and how I manage both personal and work documents so I can actually find things when I need them. This simple file management system works on both iPhone and iPad and can easily be adapted to your own setup.
If you've ever downloaded something on your iPhone or iPad and then had no idea where it ended up, you're definitely not alone. Files, PDFs, screenshots, and random documents can pile up really quickly, and before you know it, the Files app just feels messy. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the simple system I use to keep my files organized on my iPhone and iPad so you can actually find things when you need them. I'll explain how to set it up, and I'll show you how you can copy it and adapt it to your own life. This works both on iPhone and iPad, and I'm using iOS 26.2 here, but most of this will work on older versions as well. Before we get into the structure, let's quickly take a look at the Files app so everything else makes sense. Inside the Files app, you'll see a few different places where files are stored. You've got On My iPhone or On My iPad, which is local storage to your device, and iCloud Drive, which syncs files across your Apple devices. These are the two built-in Apple storage locations, and where you store your files here will affect where those files are available. You can also add third-party cloud services to the Files app as well. For example, I use Google Drive. To do this, tap the three dots at the top of the sidebar and tap Edit Sidebar. And you'll be able to turn on services like Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever cloud storage you use. Just make sure the app is installed on your device first and you're logged into the account. Once it's added, it shows up right here in the Files app alongside everything else. On the left side, you've got the sidebar. This is where you can add folders to favorites, which I highly recommend doing for anything you access often. This is also where you'll find the downloads folder. Anything you've downloaded from Safari usually ends up here, and this is one of the biggest reasons people think files disappear. If you can't find something you've downloaded, this is the first place to check. Also, the download folder is stored locally on your device. You can view files as icons, a list, or in columns. I personally use the column view because I like being able to see the folder structure clearly and drill down without constantly opening and closing folders. I also sort by date, latest to oldest. I just find it much easier to locate recent files that way, especially when I'm working on something current. One thing that confuses a lot of people is all the blue folders created by apps. These are app folders and you can't delete them, move them, or group them into a folder. They're just a part of how iOS and iPadOS work. Instead of fighting them, I basically ignore them and create my own system on top. So I've created a folder called Files and I've changed the color so it's not blue. That way it stands out straight away from all the default folders. This is where everything important goes. I've set this up as a demo using the same structure I use day to day, just without any of my personal files so I don't have to blur anything on the screen. Now in my real setup, I keep my files folder inside the iCloud Drive so I can access the files across all my Apple devices, like my iPhone and iPad. I would recommend doing this if you already pay for iCloud storage and have the space. But if you don't pay for the extra iCloud storage, that's completely fine. You can create your main files folder under On My iPad or On My iPhone instead, depending on what device you're using. Just keep in mind that files saved locally on your iPad won't automatically show up on your iPhone, and files saved on your iPhone won't automatically show up on your iPad. So it really comes down to how you use your devices. For this demo, I've created a files folder under On My iPad and changed it to red so it stands out clearly on the screen. If you want to change the folder color, just press and hold on the folder, tap Customize and Tags, then tap Tags and choose a color. You can also add emojis or icons if you want. I keep mine simple, but it's a nice option if you prefer a more visual setup. Inside Files, I have three folders: Personal, Work, and To Sort. The To Sort folder is just a temporary drop zone. If I don't know where something belongs yet, it just goes here, and I'll clean it up later. This one folder alone helps stop files ending up everywhere. Let's start with Personal because this applies to everyone. Inside my Personal folder, I organize things by important areas of my life. I have a folder for myself, a folder for my kids, and a folder for important documents. Inside my folder, I keep things like medical documents, finance-related files, holidays, and anything that's personally important. This covers most of the documents I actually need to refer back to. Inside the kids folder, I have a folder for each child, and inside those, I keep things like school documents and medical information. And then I have an important documents folder, which is where I keep things like insurance, property or rental paperwork, and anything legal. The idea here is to organize files around important parts of your life, so when you need something, you know exactly where to go. Now, if you do use your iPhone or iPad for work, this is how I organize mine. Inside my work folder, I keep things grouped by what I actually use them for. I have a folder for finance, scripts and transcripts, contracts, brand assets, and admin. Inside the finance folder, I keep things like tax documents and receipts. Inside my scripts and transcripts folder, I used to always keep my video scripts in here, but now these are just the older ones, and all of my scripts are kept in Notion. I also like to keep a copy of my video transcripts in this folder as well, in case I ever need to refer back to them. Contracts is for brand agreements. Brand assets is where I keep things like brand photos, logos, and any reusable graphics. And admin is just a general catch-all for anything work-related that doesn't fit anywhere else. I also color code my work folder so it's easy to tell apart from my personal files at a glance. This is just what works for my job though, so make sure you create folders that make sense for your type of work. Folder structure helps a lot, but file naming is just as important. I try to use clear names and include dates when it makes sense, and try to keep things consistent. For example, instead of something like document.pdf, I'll name it something like 2026 tax receipt internet.pdf. That way, search actually works when I need it. If you're storing files locally on your iPad or iPhone and your device has a USB-C port, you can also plug in an external SSD. This is really useful for backing up important files, clearing space off your old device, or moving older files you don't need access to every day. I also have a separate video where I walk you through exactly how to do this, which I'll link in the description for you. Hopefully this gave you a simple file organization system that you can actually stick to. You don't need to copy this exactly, but if you take the ideas and adapt them to your own life, finding files becomes so much easier. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.
Well, any comments or questions?
She's new and she's good.
A lot more organized than I am.
Yeah. Well, and it made sense, you know. Maybe we could duplicate that on our own devices.
I wonder why she had it organized on my iPad instead of iCloud or Dropbox or some other place where she could share it with her other devices.
I believe she did have it on the cloud. I think
Some things.
Maybe it was just because it was no, I think she showed it was coming off on my iPad. I think a little hard to see, but maybe it was just because it was a demo. She did say it was a demo she set up.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I agree, Kenji. It would certainly be on my iCloud. You can get it to your Mac.
And I wonder, would it work exactly the same way if it was on iCloud as far as the folder structure and all of that in files?
Yeah, I think as long as you use the list views, I think it would be the same. Yeah.
I liked her huge curved monitor there. That gave me a little bit of envy.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Second video is by Ellen Sweeney, iOS Tips for Seniors. Your iPhone has a hidden scanner. Here's how to use it. Did you know your iPhone can scan papers just like a real scanner? No extra app and no machine needed. In this step-by-step tutorial, I'll show you exactly how to scan documents directly into the Files app on your iPhone and keep them neatly organized. This method is perfect for seniors who want an easy, clutter-free way to store important paperwork safely.
Hi everyone, welcome to Ellen's Tips for iOS, where I help seniors master their iPhones and iPads. Did you know that your iPhone can scan papers just like a scanner? No extra app, no machine, no trips to the store. Today I'll show you how to scan documents right into the Files app, how to save them neatly, and how to share them with family, doctors, lawyers, banks, or anyone else. This is perfect for things like medical forms, receipts, insurance papers, your will, or signed documents. And don't worry, I'll go slowly and show every step. Let's get started. Most people scan documents into the Photos app, but the Files app is actually much better. Here's why. It keeps everything organized in folders. Documents don't get lost in your camera roll. It's easier to attach emails and messages, and it keeps things more private. think of the Files app as a filing cabinet for your iPhone. Let's start a scan together. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to open the Files app. So if you don't see this on your device, you can actually go to the App Store and download it. Just search for Files app and look for the one made by Apple. So let's go ahead and open the Files app. And you want to make sure that you tap Browse at the bottom. And if you're not seeing the folders, then try to hit the back button to actually see the folders. So like if you're inside of a folder, you might want to tap the back button to come back to the folders option. Now, I also want to be able to choose whether I want to scan this to my iPhone or to iCloud Drive. So I'm going to go back one more time and I'm going to tap the back arrow. And here you'll see the locations of where you can store your files that you scan in. I'm going to choose iCloud Drive, but you can also choose on my iPhone or anywhere else where you have other locations. But for now, I'm going to tap on iCloud Drive and come into the folders that are located there. If I tap on the three dots in the upper right corner, I should have an option to scan documents. I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. And right now, I have my phone laid down on my desk because I want to show you some options that are available. If I have the phone picked up and showing a document, it will immediately begin to scan that document. So here, let's take a look at the options. So your camera opens and you're ready to scan. Here, if I look at the shutter, I'm going to tap on it. And here it says auto shutter off. If I tap on it again, it says auto shutter on. If auto shutter is on, it will automatically scan the paper immediately. I don't like that because it doesn't give me a chance to maybe prepare to get the document in the best position. So I like to make sure that it says auto shutter off. Let's come over to the filters options, and here you'll see that you have color, grayscale, black and white, or photo, depending on what type of scan you're doing. If I have a black and white document, I'm going to go ahead and choose black and white. And now I'm going to take a look at the flash. If I tap on flash, I have the option to go auto, on, or off. I'm going to go ahead and just use off. I prefer to do everything manually so I can prep the scan. As you can see, I turned my camera off because I'm standing at my desk so that I can do this a little bit easier. Make sure that your paper is placed on a table that has good light. And once you do, I'm going to lift my phone because I have the document underneath my phone right now. So I'm going to go ahead and lift my phone. And you'll see that the iPhone automatically kind of zooms in and highlights the document. I'm going to go ahead and tap on the shutter button. And you'll see now that I have these four circles on each of the corners. And that's for you to be able to manipulate that document if you need to. It looks pretty good, but I'll show you what it does. So you can manipulate the document if it's not perfectly straight. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like that. And then once you have scanned that particular document, I'm going to go ahead and tap on keep. And once I do, you'll see it goes down into the lower left corner. You can scan multiple pages as well. You just keep adding them one by one. So I'm going to go ahead and scan one more page. And you'll see that it should highlight it. I'll tap on it. It adds it to the first page. I get the little circles. If I want to make any manipulations, I'm going to say keep. And then once I've scanned the documents in, I want to tap on the check mark in the upper right-hand corner to save that document. And you'll see that once I do, the document is placed inside the Files app. Now this part is important. You want to be able to name that file something that you'll recognize and remember. You don't want to leave it as scanned document. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and just put will because that's what it is. And when I'm finished, I'm going to go ahead and tap the check mark in the bottom right corner, and it adds it into the Files app. So you want to name it something like doctor visit form, insurance receipt, bank statement. And then once you do, you tap save, and the document is saved into the Files app, and it's stored there safely. Now let's talk about how you can share this file. You want to tap on the document to open it. And then once I open it, it opens in what's known as the Preview app, which I believe is new as of iOS 26. So right now you're in the Preview app. You're not in the Files app. The file opens in the Preview app. I'm going to go ahead and tap on the Share icon in the bottom. Whoops, I tapped on the I. Sorry about that. Tap on the Share icon, the square with the arrow. And now the options for you to share that appear. So you can go ahead and share this via email. You can share it via messages. You can save it to another folder. You can print it if you need it. So for example, if I tapped on messages, it would automatically drop that into the Messages app. I can type in the person's name and I can go ahead and send it. It's easy and it's professional. I'm going to tap the X to get out of that and remove it. I'm going to go ahead and just tap on the document itself to remove the share options. And now if I swipe halfway up the screen, you understand what I mean by we're in preview. We're not in the Files app. We're in this little app here called Preview. I'm going to go ahead and tap on the Files app to come back. And now, here are some bonus tips for seniors that should help you keep your files more organized. So you can zoom in while you're scanning for clear text. Make sure you're using good lighting near a window or good lighting in an office. You can create folders, and that's key. So if I'm inside of the folders area of iCloud Drive, if I push and hold on an empty area, you'll see an option appears and I can create a new folder. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to name this folder Personal. And now I want to add my will to this particular folder. So I'm going to push and hold on it. And I should get an option that says Move. I'll tap on that. And then I see Personal because I just created it. I'll go ahead and tap on Personal. And now I'll tap on Move. And now that document that we created is now inside the Personal folder. So this is a great way to be able to stay organized. And once you try this a few times, it becomes second nature. Now you know how to turn your iPhone into a document scanner and share paperwork in seconds. No machine, no apps to download, no confusion. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, post them in the comments section. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Well, comments or questions?
Good video.
I think that was the most helpful thing I've ever seen from her.
Uh-huh.
Hands down.
How do you get rid of things on there in the files? Do you have to delete them from your computer?
If you delete them from either one, they go from both.
Correct. But if I want to keep them on my computer, but not in the cloud?
Oh, well, then you would have to bring them down from the cloud onto your desktop and remove them from the cloud and then put them where you want on the computer.
Okay, thank you.
What I find is a glaring deficiency is there's no convert to text built into that procedure or app.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. Is there not a OCR function in the workflow there?
Well,
Like there can be when you just do it with a camera, right?
You put it in PDF?
well, I think it's the same as anything you have in your photos, and however you deal with that, you do this the same way.
Yeah, if it comes to preview, you can change it in preview.
Mhm. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Third video is by Dan Wassink. Dan Tutorials. Is your iPad dock set up right? Let's find out. Do you know how much time you could save by using the dock on your iPad? In this video, I show what the dock is, how to add and remove apps and folders, how recent apps work, and how to access the dock from anywhere so that you can move around your iPad faster and more efficiently.
In this video, we're going to take a quick look at the dock on the iPad. The dock is where you can store your favorite apps, but we do have a few tricks up our sleeve with the dock. Now, before we get started, if you like what you see here, stick around to the end. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and how you can help support my efforts in creating these videos. Let's go over to my iPad and take a look at the dock. So as I mentioned, the dock here is located at the bottom of your home screen. Now, the idea behind this is you want to put your favorite apps in this dock. When you put your favorite apps in the dock, they're going to be available from any home screen. So when I swipe over to the right, we can see that the dock is still there, showing the same apps. So that's the idea behind the dock. It just gives us access to our favorite apps. So how do we add an app to it? Well, basically, all you do is just drag an app on top of the dock. So let's say I wanted to move Pages here down into my dock. I long press on Pages, and I drag it like I'm going to move it, but I place it on top of the dock, and I can place it anywhere I want in that dock. And then, once I'm done, I let go, and it is in that dock. We have one other step. We have to get out of that jiggly mode. I tap on Done, and it had added it to the dock. So it's no longer in my home screen. It is now in my dock. And it's going to be available from every home screen. How do we remove an app from the dock? Well, basically it works the same way. We long press on it. So I'm going to long press on Pages here. Let's move it back to the home screen. I long press on it, and then I drag it out and place it where I want on the home screen. Again, we have to tap on Done in the upper right-hand corner, and then it applies all the changes. So that's the basics of the dock. But like I said, we have a few tricks up our sleeve. We can also place folders in the dock. So I have a folder on my third home screen here, and what I would like to do is I would like to place that into the dock. Well, basically it works the same way. I long press on it like I'm going to move it, and then I just drag it down into the dock, and it places it in the dock. Again, I tap on Done in the upper right-hand corner, and it applies those changes. Now, there's one catch with the folder in the dock, and I'm not a huge fan of this. You're going to notice that there is no name here, so you're not going to be able to view that folder by name. So it kind of makes it a little bit less appealing. When you have multiple folders in the dock, you're not sure which folder is what. Now, to remove a folder, all we do is just drag it out, just like before, and we can place it on our home screen, tap on Done. Now, when we're looking at our dock, you're going to see that we have a vertical line here. What is that vertical line? Well, basically, that separates your favorite apps, so these are the apps and folders that you put on the dock, from recent apps and the app library. So if we look here, you're going to say I have the app library. I tap on that, and I can view my app library. Well, we can also add recent apps to that. How do we add recent apps to that? Well, we need to go to the settings for the dock. And we're going to go over here to my settings. And then from here, what we need to do is go to home screen and app library. And you're going to see that we have basically two settings for the dock. We can show the app library in the dock, which is what I have turned on. You're going to see that it is green over here. And then we also have show suggested and recent apps in the dock. Now that is turned off. So let's go ahead and turn that on. So I take this slider here, tap on it, and now it is turned on. So now what's going to happen is when I go to the dock, swipe up, you're going to see that I have another section here. These are recent apps or suggested apps. So right now this is a suggested app. Let's go ahead and open up an app. What we're going to do is we're going to open up Tessie here. I tap on it. This is not in my favorites. So now when I go back over to my home screen, you're going to see that I have Tessie here. I didn't add it to the dock. It automatically added it as a recent. And I believe we can have up to 3 recents. So let's go ahead and open up one more. We're going to go with Good Task. I go back to my home screen, and again, we can see it's in my dock here. But now when I open up another app, what it's going to do is it's going to replace one of these because these are recent apps. So let's go with Play, and I swipe up, and now we can see that it replaced an app icon. So we can have up to 3 recent apps in the dock. Now, one other trick I want to show you. The dock always shows on the home screen, but we can also have it show when we're in an app. How do we do that? Well, let's go into an app. So we're just going to go into Pages here. I'm looking at Pages, and I would like to show the dock. Well, all we have to do is just go down to the very bottom here and just slightly pull up. We don't want to go all the way up because then it's going to go to the home screen, right? But if I just pull up slightly, we have our dock. So we can also access the dock from within an app. We just have to pull up slightly from the very bottom. So that's how we work with the dock on the iPad. It's a place where we can store our favorite apps as well as folders. And then of course we can also show our recent apps as well as the app library. And then last, we can also show that dock when it is in an app. We just slightly pull up from the bottom. We don't go all the way up because that's going to show our home screen. We just slightly pull up and then we can see our favorite apps. So that's how we work with the dock on the iPad. Now, if you found this video helpful, what you may want to do is like the video. You can subscribe to my channel. You can share it with your friends and family. In addition to that, I have a couple of different options.
Well, any comments or questions? All right, we'll move on.
So yeah, I've got a question. So would it work exactly the same on the iPhone?
I believe that's true. Fourth video is
I don't think the iPhone has the 3 recent apps. There's not enough space on the dock to do that.
you may have a
That
point.
originally appeared on the iPad, and then later it appeared on the Mac. And it was an iPad OS feature.
Thanks.
Okay, fourth video is by Sam Cambides. Cool little things your iPhone can do. In this video, I show you 6 cool little iPhone features that are built in and genuinely useful. From back tap shortcuts to battery charging limits, spotlight tricks, and more. These small iOS tips can make your everyday tasks quicker and easier. Whoops. Oh, I hit back.
In this video, we're going to...
Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to show you some cool little things that your iPhone can do that you may not already know about, but are really useful. So let's get into the video. First up is back tap. You can double tap or triple tap the back of your iPhone to do things like take a screenshot, open the camera, or turn on the torch. I've got mine set to open quick notes so I can jot something down fast without digging through apps. To set this up, go to Settings, Accessibility, down to Touch, and then you want to scroll down to the bottom to back tap. You can see here for double tap, I have Show Quick Notes, but you can click on this and pick whatever you would like. There's a big long list of everything. So for under shortcuts, these are a little bit more advanced. I'll quickly show you how to make my quick notes one, but all the default ones are up here. So if you wanted the torch or the control center or to open the camera, have all these options here. I'll quickly show you how to make my quick notes shortcut. So it's really easy. You just close out of this. You need to come across to the shortcuts app, which should already be installed on your phone. So you open the shortcuts app, and then I'm just going to go all shortcuts, and then I'll hit this little plus button up the top. And then all you need to do in this search action is write quick note, and then you'll see this one here, show quick note. Click on that, and then you go done, and then you've got a show quick note. See, the one I had already made is right here. So this one's called show quick note 1. And now if we go back to our settings, you can see show quick note 1, which is the one we just made. So now if I double tap on the back of my phone, it opens up a quick note and I can just type whatever I'd like in there. Here's a really fun one. You can lift a person or an object straight out of a photo just by pressing and holding on it. Your iPhone will cut out the subject automatically and you can copy it, drop it into notes or messages, or even turn it into a sticker you can use in iMessage. It's like having a built-in background remover and it's super handy. So to do this, let's open up our Photos app. And then we want to select a photo with an object or a person that we want to remove. I'm going to use this one of a kangaroo. You can see right here. So what you need to do is just need to press and hold on the object, and then you have the option to copy. And so once you hit copy, you can open up another app like the Notes app and paste the cutout picture of the kangaroo in your Notes app, or you can go add sticker. And if we click add sticker, it will add your sticker into here. And then we can go add effects, and you can put like an outline around it, turn it into a bit of a comic, make it puffy, sort of like a sticker, or shiny. I usually like the outline one. And then you go done, and it adds it into your stickers. So when you use iMessage, you can click this little plus button here and go stickers. And then you have all these stickers that you've created that you can put into messages to people. That's just a fun little trick you can do. Here's one a lot of people miss. Your iPhone's Spotlight Search also works as a calculator or a converter. Just swipe down from your home screen. We can type in something like 96 times 3 and it will give us the answer. We can also do this for currency conversion. So I could type in 20 USD and it will convert it into Australian or any other currency that I would like. So there's no need to open any other apps. You just swipe in the middle of your home screen and you can write whatever you would like to convert into this search bar here. This one's for battery health. You can set a charging limit to help prolong your iPhone's battery life. I have mine set to only charge up to 85% whenever it's plugged in. But if I know I've got a big day ahead, maybe I'll be out for hours or I won't have access to a charger, I can quickly charge it all the way to 100% just for that one day. So to do this, go to settings, and then we want to go to battery, and then we need to click on charging. And here you can see I've set my charge limit to 85. So whenever I plug my phone in to charge, it's only going to go to 85%. But if, let's say, tomorrow I have a really busy day and I want to make sure my phone is full for the whole day, I'm just going to click 100, and then I'll just click allow until tomorrow. So then whenever I plug my phone in to charge until tomorrow, it's going to charge until 100%. And then after that, it's going to come back to 85%. It's a smart way to protect your battery without getting caught short, because we always have those times when we are going to need a 100% battery for the day. But a lot of the time for me, I only really need to charge it to 85% because I always have a charger available if I need. But most of the time, 85% charge for me gets me through the day just fine. If you've ever needed to scan something quickly, like a document or a receipt, just use the Notes app. All you need to do is open the Notes app, create a new note, come down here to the paperclip icon, click Scan Document, And then if we have a receipt like this, then all we need to do is get it into frame and it will automatically scan it in. And then you can keep scanning documents if you have a few, or you can just hit save. And then you can see here now in my notes, I have a scanned in document. I can write stuff underneath if I need to take any notes about it. If this was a document that had a section where you needed to sign or put the date in, you can use the markup tool, which is this little pen tool here. And then you can press plus and you can add your signature, or you can add a text box, or you can use the pens and draw on the image if you needed to. And finally, did you know your iPhone can actually search your photos based on what's in them? Just open the Photos app, tap search, and then you can type something in like cat, plant, receipt. So we'll type cat. And you can see here it's picked up 2 results of pictures of my cats. It uses image recognition to find the matches, even if you've never tagged or named the photo. So those are some cool little things that your iPhone can do that make everyday life just that little bit easier. Let me know in the comments if you've tried any.
Well, any comments or questions?
Lee, did that look like she used the updated version of the operating system? Because the scanning function nowadays, there is a check mark in 26, OS 26. What it was before that was exactly what she was showing.
This time she was in notes. And she's on
I
26.2, but she was using notes.
Okay, I guess that's different, huh?
Also, I don't think you won't find the torch on your phone.
Right.
Yeah, I was curious.
Don't
I
be
was,
torching stuff.
I was hoping she'd slow down to see if it said torch or flashlight on her phone.
Yeah, no.
Okay, moving on. 5th video is by Dan Wasink. Dan's tutorials, how to switch apps and force quit apps on the iPad. In this video, I explain how app switching works on the iPad and why apps are designed to stay open in the background. You will learn how to move between open apps efficiently, when it actually makes sense to quit an app, and why closing apps all the time usually isn't necessary. Understanding these basics can make your iPad feel faster, easier to use, and less frustrating.
In this video, we're going to take a look at how we can easily switch between our open apps on the iPad, as well as how we can quit them, or I should say force quit them. Now, if you found this video helpful, what you may want to do is stick around to the end. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and how you can help support my efforts in creating these videos. Let's take a look at how we can easily switch between our open apps, as well as quit an app on the iPad. Let's go over to my iPad. Now, when you open an app on the iPad, I'm going to open up the Maps app. When you open up that app and then you go back to the home screen, it doesn't actually quit that app. So what it does is it just moves this in the background, the Maps app in the background, but it keeps it open. So when I swipe up from the bottom here to go to my home screen, that app is still open. The Maps app is still open. Let's go and open up my calendar. I tap on it. And again, this is now open, and when I swipe up to go to the home screen, that calendar app is still open. And with the iPad, what we can do is we can easily switch between our open apps. So I don't have to go back to the Maps app, go to the home screen, go to the calendar, go to the home screen, go to notes, then go back over to the home screen. There's an easier way of switching between these open apps, these apps that you've opened. All you need to do is just swipe up, but instead of letting go right away, put a slight pause there. When you swipe up and pause and then let go of your finger or lift your finger off of the iPad, what it's going to do is it's going to show you all of your open apps. So I swipe up and pause, and now you're going to see I have all of my open apps. So I can easily switch over to the Maps app just by tapping on Maps. I want to go to my Notes app. I swipe up and then slightly pause, and now I can go over to my Notes app. Tap on it. I want to go to my calendar. Swipe up and pause, and we go over here to the calendar app. So that's how we can easily switch between our open apps. And when we're looking at all of our open apps, I can swipe over to the right to view more. And I can tap on any one of these to open it up. Now you may be wondering, how do you quit an app? Well, in most cases, you do not need to quit an app. When you put an app in the background here, what it'll do is it'll put it into like a pause mode. So it's not going to take up any battery life. It's not going to use any extra resources. So you really don't have to worry about quitting an app. All you need to do is just switch over to that app and it'll open it back up and make it active again. But there is a way to quit an app, and it's called force quit. Let's say I wanted to force quit the Clocks app here. How can I do that? Well, basically you just swipe up on it, and when I swipe up on it, it just quit that app. And then it quits that app. So that's how you can quit an app, or actually I should say force quit an app, because that's what you're doing. You're force quitting an app. You're not going to save any changes. So that's how we can switch between our open apps. Basically all we have to do is just swipe up from the bottom of our iPad and let's put a slight pause in there, and then you're going to see all of your open apps. Tap on any app to bring it to the forefront and make it active. If you want to quit an app, or I should say force quit an app, then we go into where we can see all of our open apps and then swipe up on that specific app. Just so you know, like I said earlier, the iPad is really designed to keep these apps open so you don't really have to quit them. But if you did want to quit them, you could do that as well. So that's how we can see all of our open apps and easily switch to them, as well as quit an app on the iPad. Now, if you found this video helpful, what you may want to do is...
So, any comments or questions?
Question. Did he say that when you flick it up like that, you don't have to save? Does it automatically save changes?
He said that they would not save the changes.
Well, that's
on
what it
force
sounded
quit.
like at first, but I thought that can't be.
No, what he said was you're force quitting the app so it doesn't save. So yeah, it doesn't save it, anything that you have open.
Oh, that's dangerous. So how do you save changes on the iPad?
I don't think, I mean, so let's imagine that you're dealing with a Pages document. And if you've just finished doing what you've done in your Pages document, and you save it, then I think if you force quit that Pages app, you do not lose those changes in that Pages document. They're still there. All you have to
But you said if you save it, but how do you save on the iPad? I don't use the iPad much.
Well, you'd save it, give it a name, and tell it where to save it.
Yeah.
But if you say if you open a document and you typed in it and you didn't do that, save, and you force quit it, then I believe you would lose it.
Well, on iOS, with iPad or iPhone, in many apps, you have the check button, the check mark button, and that's the save button.
But if you've never named an app and told it where to save it and you force quit it, I think that means you would lose it, right?
I would think it would ask you.
Force quit doesn't ask you anything.
Mm-hmm.
On the Mac, if you force quit an app, it just says, do you want to force quit? You say yes. On the iOS, you flick it up and it's gone. It just doesn't ask you if you want to do that. Try it and see. Open a Pages document, type something, don't save it, and force quit it and see if it, maybe it default saves it as untitled somewhere. I don't know.
No,
sometimes you just can't save it from yourself.
Yeah, no, I think you have to save the file.
Yeah.
And
you're never going to save anything unless you consciously give it a name.
Yes.
And
but after that, you might edit it.
Well, closing it and saving it are two different things. If you close it by moving from one application to another, your work is still there. But if you force quit, your work won't be there. You may be confusing the two actions that he talked about. One was moving between applications, and you're not really quitting it when you're going from one to the other. That work is saved.
So it's saved if you change applications. That's
But
interesting.
yes, but it's not saved to a file. It's just saved live on your document until
Oh,
you
well,
choose to name it and save it in a specific
well,
location.
say it has a name and you've done some editing and you go to another app. Is that saved?
Yes, it'll remain. If you
Well,
force quit it, however, you'll lose it.
except most iPad apps that we tend to use, you're not actually creating new documents. You're making changes within the app itself, like notes or email or so there you just click the confirmation button and it saves your changes.
Well, you're confusing the issue a little bit there. When you say
Trying to
most of
simplify
us,
the issue.
when you say most of us don't create things, we just modify them. That's not necessarily true. I think she's talking about creating a document and worrying about its salvage when she moves to another application. Editing, of course, if you force quit, the edit would be lost, but if you edit and then save, it will be salvaged. It'll be saved in your files.
Well, I just didn't know if there's a check mark or something to show save.
I think on the Mac and Apple apps like Pages, when you're editing a document, it auto saves every so often.
It does?
That's true
Once
in
it's
iOS
once
enough.
it's named, once
Right,
it's
once it's
named.
named and saved, and you make an edit every so often, pretty frequently, it auto saves because you can go back to previous versions that it automatically saved.
I recommend if you have any doubts, just to do a sample and try it. Come on.
Okay, try it. Move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Six videos by Gary Rosenzweig of MacMost, 10 Mac weather app tips. Here are some tips for getting the most from the weather app on your Mac. Learn how to put the weather in the menu bar, cool wind animations, get severe weather notifications, and build your own weather readout in shortcuts.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Here are some tips for using the weather app on your Mac. So the weather app on your Mac gives you tons of information about weather where you are. But you could also get weather in other locations. If you look on the left, you should see a sidebar. If you don't, click this little button here to reveal it. At the top, you've got a search field. You can search for any location from small town to big city around the world. So just do a quick search like this, select from the results, and you'll see the weather in that location. All the information here is filled in, forecast, the sunrise and sunset times, everything. Now, if you want to go back to this location later, you may want to add it to that list that's on the left. Click this plus button and it will do that. So you could search for any cities or locations you want and then add them to the list and then keep adding them. And then you can drag them around to rearrange their order. You can make this list as long as you like. And to remove one, just control click, right click, or two finger click on it and use delete. Now you may be interested to know where the weather information comes from. Well, Apple has this support page, and on it you can find a list of all of the data sources they've got. So where you're at may get it from one or more of these data sources. Like for instance, from where I live, probably it comes from the National Weather Service, but also the Weather Channel. So there's no team of meteorologists at Apple headquarters making these forecasts. You can't blame them if it's wrong. The information comes from these sources. Now, you may not want to run the entire weather app just to get the current temperature. You can get that in the menu bar by simply going to the Apple menu, then System Settings, and then going down to Menu Bar. Look through the list of things that you can add to the menu bar and check Weather. Then you'll get this weather indicator here with a little icon and the current temperature. Better still, you could click it and you get more information, a forecast for the next few hours, and the weather in the first few of your other locations that you've added. And you can click on any one of these to jump to the weather app and go to the appropriate information. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MacMost through Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. Now, if you want even more than that, you could add a widget to appear on your desktop behind all of your windows. So you can control click, right click, or two finger click here on the desktop and then choose edit widgets. Then scroll down to weather and you have several different kinds of weather widgets. You've got some small ones, larger ones, and ones even with multi-day forecasts. You've got details of the current conditions, a small daily forecast one, and then even a sunset and sunrise one. So for instance, you could add this one here and it'll appear on your desktop. When you've got one there, you can control click, right click, or two finger click on it, edit it, and change the location. This is very useful because it means you can add multiple widgets for different locations. So I can keep this widget up here. I'll add it a second time, which doesn't seem to make any sense except that I can change this one to be a different location, choose from my list here, and now I could create a little set of weather widgets for the locations I care about across the top of my screen, down the left side, or wherever I want. Another place you can have widgets is in the notification center. When you click on the time, you get the notification center. And this will include default weather widget, but you can click edit widgets here. You can remove this one if you want. You can go to the same weather widgets here and add individual ones, like two separate ones for two different locations. Click on one, change its location here, like that, and then have these just appear in the right sidebar where they'll slide over windows rather than appearing under them like they will with desktop widgets. Another place you can find weather is Spotlight. Simply use Command Space and then type weather and you'll get the basic weather information for your location. But you could also type in and you can search for another location. And if you click on that, it will go to the weather app like you did a search for that location there. You could also ask Siri. So I've got Type to Siri turned on, but you can just use your voice and you can ask for weather in and then any location like that. And it'll give you the same little widget here with the weather and you can click it to open up the weather app. But in addition to you getting the weather can also come to you. In the weather app, go to Settings and then look under Notifications. And here you could set up severe weather and next hour precipitation notifications. And you could do that for each individual location. One tip here is notice how Denver appears at the bottom, but that's also my current location. I search for and added Denver here. It only appears once in the list, but that means it will now appear here in this list under locations. And when I travel, Denver will appear in the list, even though it's not my current location. I, of course, want to check on the weather back at home. Now, also, when you're looking at weather, don't just look at what you see here. Every one of these is clickable. So if you want to get more detailed information about something, like these conditions here, you can click on it. There are a lot of different graphs that are shown for lots of these, for instance, for precipitation. But some of them have other information. Like, for instance, if you go to the moon information here, you've got this cool slider here. You can see the phase and rotation of the moon in the sky and a cool little calendar. If you go to averages here, you'll not only see the current temperature, but is it higher or lower than average? And what's the range? So if you feel like it's warmer or colder than it usually is, well, you can check. And the maps has a lot of layers here that you can go to. Like for instance, wind, and you can see these cool wind graphs here, and you can zoom in and see them for your area. If you go to precipitation or temperature, you could see lots of cool information. Precipitation will show you the radar information here like this, and you could switch from 1 hour to 12 hours and then move the slider yourself and then even zoom in on various areas like this and check to see how things are going to develop. So here's a bonus tip. Use shortcuts to get specific weather information. So for instance, here in shortcuts, I'll create a new shortcut. And if I look at the actions available under apps here, I'll see that there are a lot of weather actions here. I can get the current weather, I can get the forecast, I can use current weather and get the current location, or I can give a specific location like this. And then when I run it, you could see I get that there. I could also say get details and select the details. So if I want the humidity right now, I can get that as well. And you can basically create your own weather readouts like this. I'm going to use the text action to create a text block here. And I'm going to type temperature and then control click, right click, or two finger click, insert variable, and use weather conditions, taking this variable and putting it here. But if I click on it once, I can choose the detail and just choose temperature like that. So now if I run this, you could see I get this readout. I could add a few more lines just like this the same way. So now you can see when I run this, I get all this information here. If I go to the information about this shortcut, I make sure Show in Spotlight is checked and Provide Output, and I'll give it a name like Quick Weather, like that. Now I can run this in Spotlight just by searching for Quick Weather, and I could assign a quick key to it. I'll do QW. So now I can just do QW in Spotlight. It'll be the first thing that comes up, and then a return will run it and just give me the information I want. So I hope you found these tips for using the weather app on your Mac useful. Thanks for watching.
Comments or questions?
Good.
Love the weather app.
Uh-huh.
It's great.
Yeah. You can sure check all around the country, all around the world. Okay, well, we'll move on to the miscellany. Now, there's only one item for this week, and it's right here on the screen. Is the iPhone screen too dark for old eyes? Mine was. So I went to Settings. Then I went to Accessibility. Then I went to Display and Text Size. And then I went to Reduce White Point, and I turned it off. And now I can see my iPhone screen much better. So if the iPhone screen is too dark for your eyes, go to Settings, Accessibility, Display and Text Size, Reduce White Point, turn it off. Give it a try. On to questions and answers, and social hour.
Are you stopping recording?
Okay, any questions about anything we did in our presentation so far? We'll move on to a new recording. Last chance. Okay, here we go. I'm going to stop this. Any DVMUG members watching on YouTube, you can watch the next Q&A with a link on the DVMUG BBS. Stop.